Ah, welcome, like, fellow, share, subscribe to your boy. We're getting directly into this. Hope you enjoy because we're gonna have some fun. Appreciate
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. I'm Mark Stein in for Tucker. Throughout the Western world this past year, governments of all kinds bungled the Chinese
Bungle
coronavirus.
the
They did what no
Chinese.
society has tried to do before: quarantine and lock down millions upon millions of perfectly healthy
Billions
people,
upon
destroying
millions
their
and
livelihoods.
billions and
And at
billions.
least for the third of the population suffering from clinical depression, destroying their mental health into the bargain. Meanwhile, at the same time they walled up perfectly healthy grade schoolers, our leaders utterly failed to protect the truly vulnerable, the population most at risk from
Wonder who that
Chi-Com-19,
is.
the elderly. Instead, they looked at long-term care facilities full of octogenarians, nonagenarians, and thought, that'd be a good place to warehouse all those COVID-positive patients. The man who embodies this catastrophic public policy failure is the blood-soaked butcher of New York, Andrew Cuomo. And throughout the last year, while his elderly citizens were dying alone, out of sight, without human touch, he was on your telly screen in the Cuomo Brothers vaudeville act, playing it for laughs.
Do you think that you are an attractive person now because you're single and ready to mingle? Do you really think you are some desirable single person? In scale, this was the actual swab that was being used to fit up that double-barrel shotgun that you have mounted on the front of your pretty face.
To do Ellen's show was a pleasure for me. I'm a big fan of Ellen. Yes,
Look
she
at it,
said
brothers.
nice things about me.
Yes, she did.
You can tell it was the
Which she
older
didn't say
one.
about you,
Nope.
but she was just telling the truth.
Now, I've seen you referred to a little bit recently as the love gov, and I'm wondering if that's bleeding into your demeanor at all, making you a little soft on the president.
I've always been a soft guy. I am the love gov. I'm a cool dude and a little smooth. You know that. I just say
cool
let it
dude
go.
and
Just go
little
with the flow,
smooth.
baby. Listen
Say
here.
what?
You got an answer for anything. You're
What
feeling
are you?
pretty good about
That's-
yourself these days, aren't you?
Yeah, he's feeling pretty good.
Good, isn't he?
That night was very, very troubling because we couldn't
Getting a
sleep.
few more people
and,
on here, y'all.
and
Like,
she's
follow, share, and
telling me,
subscribe. Appreciate you.
what did you
guys.
do to us? Stop what you're doing, please. She feared for my future, for my life.
Really? This guy feared for his life? Oh, yeah, says the second most powerful Democrat in the state. That's our Andy all over.
It's a sad thing to say, Mika, but that's classic Andrew Cuomo. A lot of people in New York State have received those phone calls. The bullying is nothing new.
So you believe Assemblyman Kim that he was threatened?
100%.
The mayor has now filled the streets of Manhattan with interpretative dancers doing an interpretative dance of Cuomo enforcers menacing Democrat assemblymen.
This is dope.
An investigation into Andrew Cuomo's handling of the nursing home crisis on our show back in May 2020.
I believe that we need to have an independent investigation, and we cannot trust the state of New York to do an independent investigation. You have to have a federal investigation that will be the only way we get an actual, true, independent investigation to take a look at what exactly occurred here.
That doesn't even make sense.
Nicole Maliotakis was prescient. She joins us now to respond to these latest developments. Congresswoman, how come you got it 9 months ago and Fauci and these driveling celebrities continued heaping praise on this blood-soaked governor for another 9 months, all the way to these recent?
Don't even worry. Oh, I got some more for it. Oh, we got some more for you. We're not done. We're not done. Okay.
All right, guys, a little fair warning here. Those of you out there who don't want to hear about the truth, who want to ignore the fact that anti-gun laws are being put forth, who want to say that everybody like myself
is fear-mongering, bring you actual facts that are being presented by actual lawmakers and legislators at the federal government level. You guys need to click off. You need to get off my video. Go. I give you a second. Go ahead, click off. I still see you out there. Get off the video. Stop watching my video. Okay, for those of you that are left, HR 1004. This is about as unconstitutional as you can get. It actually violates a couple of amendments out there of the Bill of Rights. HR 1004, which is being titled the Firearms Risk Protection Act of 2021. Guys, anytime they put that sugar-coating wording in there, you know there's something deceptive in the bill, because there's no reason to put anything like that in unless you're trying to distract someone and lie to them. But this bill is actually going to mandate liability insurance. Now remember this, liability insurance. Let's do a small comparison to vehicles, but let's remember that this is going to be kind of straddling the fence between vehicle insurance and actual how they force healthcare insurance on us. The same type of concept is what they're looking at. What the wording states is, it's to prohibit the sale of a firearm to and the purchase of a firearm by a person who is not covered by appropriate liability insurance coverage. Make no mistake about this. It's unconstitutional to force insurance on anybody. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking of the Affordable Care Act, where they forced that insurance upon you. The Supreme Court, if you will remember, avoided that whole 10th Amendment infringement by saying that it was more of a tax rather than actual insurance, because the federal government cannot mandate insurance. They absolutely can't do that. Any powers that are not already given to the federal government via the Constitution, because the Constitution gives the government authority over various things. Again, it doesn't grant us our rights, it recognizes our rights and tells the government what their limitations are. So the government cannot mandate this. Now, what they can do is bribe the states, and that's how they're trying to do a number of things. That's even how they are trying to do extreme risk protection orders, more readily known as red flag gun laws. They know that they don't have the authority or the ability to push those things, which they haven't even stated yet in this bill, but they're going to create an incentive program to incentivize the states to implement this type of insurance, again, because they cannot do this at the federal level via the 10th Amendment. So look for that down the road. This is only a 3-page document right now, and that's why, because past this year, because there's so much more work to be done, and we know that Congress worked less than Santa Claus in a normal calendar year. So this won't happen this year. This is just my gut feeling. They have way too much more to put in here to be able to push this thing and even force it through, because it's way too open-ended right now.
I agree.
But nevertheless, this is showing what their true intent is. Now, they mentioned specifically that they're talking about liability insurance. Think of this in terms of your vehicle. If I'm being forced to buy liability insurance, doesn't that mean that if I lose my gun, drop my gun, scratch my gun, dent my gun, damage my gun, if my gun doesn't work, that my liability insurance should kick in at that point? Yeah, I know the answer to that, and I'm again asking that facetiously, because I'm not asking for anybody to take care of my stuff for me, but I'm making that point that that's what liability insurance does. Now, one thing that struck me about this bill, and leave it to the United States federal government to do this, thinking of Ruby Ridge and Waco right now, this law shall not apply to the purchase or sale of a firearm for the use of the United States or any department or agency of the United States, or any state or any department, agency, or political subdivision or of a state. So that means that when they shoot your dog, and they weren't supposed to be at your house in the first place, but they shoot it, nothing's going to apply to that. There's no liability on their end. That means that whenever they do hideous things like a Ruby Ridge and shoot a completely innocent lady and a completely innocent little boy and murder them in cold blood accidentally, that there will be no liability tied to that whatsoever. So the government, the one agency, the one entity known more than anything of making more accidental deaths happen than anybody else with the use of a firearm, they're going to be let off the hook, but yet we are going to be responsible for every single trigger pull of that firearm as long as we own it. So that means that you are on the hook if somebody steals your firearm. It spells out very clearly in here that that insurance is going to be applicable and in, I guess you could say, active, as long as you are the owner of that firearm. So that gun can be possessed by anyone else, not legally, of course, but it can be possessed by anyone else and they can perform a crime. Your insurance is going to be tied to that. Now, what are you thinking? I'm not buying insurance, right? $10,000 fine for not having that insurance. And also, you were supposed to make sure that the other person that you're selling to, if you have a firearm, if you decide to get rid of yours, they have to have that same insurance. We're going to see additional bills, if not built into this one, that will also say that if you don't check on that insurance and something else happens and they don't have insurance, but they lied to you and said that they did, your insurance is still going to be on the hook for that, or you personally will be on the hook for that. Don't think that that's going away. It's absolutely going to be on you. They're trying to put someone on the hook for everybody else's misdeeds. I'm not as concerned with this. I'm more concerned with them showing their hand. They're showing me that that's where they're going. Remember, they're already trying to pass legislation to hold gun manufacturers liable for any kind of crimes that happen with a firearm that they built and sold illegally, very legally. They're trying to hold them accountable. But what they're trying to do essentially, guys, is scare everybody away. If the people putting these types of bills together, you know what people I'm talking about, if they really cared about people, they wouldn't have people in inner cities completely enslaved right now with them under their finger and lying to them on a daily basis about who's doing them wrong. They wouldn't lie to them. They don't care about people. It's all about control. And what
exactly. With that being said, I got some more to be talked about. I thought I had put it. But I appreciate everybody for coming up in here. Like, follow, share, and subscribe to your boy, DJ Vision. And we got some more stuff coming down the pipeline for you, so you'll be well informed on what's going on. All righty.
Valentine's Day, Joe Biden exploited the anniversary of a major school shooting to push for gun control laws that wouldn't have stopped the school shooting he's exploiting to push for more gun control laws. Biden wrote, "This administration will not wait for the next mass shooting to heed that call. We will take action to end our epidemic of gun violence and make our schools and communities safer. Today, I am calling on Congress to enact common sense gun law reforms, including requiring background checks on all gun sales, banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, and eliminating immunity for gun manufacturers who knowingly put weapons of war on our streets. We owe it to all of those who have lost and to all those left behind to grieve to make a change. The time to act is now." In a cheap attempt at sounding authoritative when in reality he's begging Congress to do what he wants, Joe Biden tells on himself and the entire gun control lobby when he says this administration will no longer wait for the next mass shooting to heed that call, which essentially means normally we just wait for a tragedy that we can exploit in order to push for gun control because people are more emotional after a tragedy. And when people are emotional,
now we're not going to wait
their emotions at the moment. So we try to get them to vote on gun control laws that have a long-term negative effect, but short-term relief from the emotions they are feeling after a major tragedy. This is political ambulance chasing 101, except now the Democrats have the House, the Senate, and the White House. So Biden's like, why wait for a tragedy to exploit when we can just exploit our dominance in Congress? He continues by saying, "We will take action to end our epidemic of gun violence and make our schools and communities safer." In 2020, the annual gun death rate was 12.2 deaths per 100,000 people. Yet in 1974, we had a gun death rate of 16.3 per 100,000 people.
Hi, DJ.
All right.
What's on the docket?
Oh, got gun control, gun talk, a lot of things come down the pipeline. There's a lot of distractions that are not going to be passed, but they're put out anyway, so that we can know what they're thinking and know what they want. But a lot of stuff is not going to get passed. A lot of stuff might get passed if he uses his the power of all three powers. So we'll see. You know, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of things going out. You know, every week.
Well, it's funny because I have checked. I don't know. I think there's, I find that there is things that people are saying that have been signed, but then there's actually a registry that shows the actual, I guess, the actual filing of the orders. So
Yep.
I don't know. They've just, I said this before, they were stockpiling bills before previous administration, came out, because I think they knew just the minute they got in that's, they were going to go for the most extreme laws on that HR 5771, I believe.
It's a few. HR 57, HR 51, HR 5717, HR 127, and this one that we're talking about is HR 1004. So it's a lot that's going down right now. They're trying to figure out HR 5717 was last year, was 2019 to 2020. They're trying to bring it back. It's a lot of things that they're trying to bring back. It's a lot of things they revamped, didn't have like the verbiage for. They just had the bill and the idea. Like HR 127 was one of the most recent ones that was put out, and also HR 1004. So that's what I was going over right now, that 1004, and it's about it's an extension of HR 127, which already requires you to pay the Attorney General for insurance fees for your firearms. So this is an extension of with HR 1004 is the mandate that you have the insurance separate from HR 127, which already says if you don't have the insurance and you had to use your firearm such and such for, you're facing federal time. Not even like a fine. It's a fine with federal time and blah blah. It's just ridiculous. Doesn't make sense on as far as the books are concerned, but you'll see how far that goes. That's why I said a lot of stuff is obviously unconstitutional, won't pass. But then again, they could pass certain ones that they could swoop down a pipeline, because basically, as he was saying, you don't have to wait for the mass shooting to happen to grab everybody's emotions. Moms demand action, and all of these groups to hop on board gun control. It's gonna happen anyway. So you might as well do it now, because you're in power and you got the executive, the legislators in the House. These are already gonna do it, try to do it now. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna put out the worst ones first. What they're doing now. Put out the worst, harsh ones first. Sees what can get people's eyes. Try to see if anybody's paying attention to the particulars. Nobody is. Their voter IQs are low, so they're not going to read into it. We're reading all of it, so we're the only one. So it's just like, okay, here we go again. And once you start posting these and sharing them, you'll only get a very small few of people to realize that they'll be the ones on the show determined to stick. But
I'm just not sure. I'm going to be honest. I think because there's been such, the political climate has been so exhausting. I think people are just starting to tune out. There are times where I have to tune out because
of course.
It's just, I've had so much information in my head over the last year. And of course I've written to senators. I've done action projects, and I'm just exhausted from it all.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are very frustrated because they've done just as much as I've done or more, and they don't know, they don't see the fruits of, they don't see the law either being upheld, or they see, what I see is that there's two different laws, two different interpretations of what's legal, what's lawful right now, and that's problematic. And I don't see how the system is not going to last. We're not gonna have what we have at this rate, because it's just, they're doing what they want to do, based on their system. And then other people are thinking that we're under the Constitution. Well, which one? Because there's just been so many changes that people aren't aware of, and I don't even know them all. But I know that we're not. That this to me, this country is not really being run like a country when you get down to it. I don't see it run that way, and I don't know that it's going to be. So we're eroding everywhere. We're eroding rights everywhere. Eroding. So
I agree. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this and then get some commentary on it.
Want to explain to me how we have a gun violence epidemic when we've seen the largest number of gun purchases in history over the last 2 years, but our annual gun death rate in 2020 is substantially lower than it was in the 1970s. I tell you how, because the phrase epidemic of gun violence is horseshit. It's an emotional ploy to get you to believe that the gun violence is so bad, we must resort to extreme measures to make it go down. Our recent gun death rates are consistent. 30 to 40,000 people die from gun deaths every year. And every year, 60 to 65% of those deaths are from suicides. And nearly 80% of gun homicides are due to drug and gang violence. We have over 400 million guns in this country, with over 300 million people, with less than 1% of the population being murdered by someone with a gun. That is not an epidemic. In 2021, the U.S. didn't even rank in the top 10 countries for firearm-related homicides. And we have more guns in the hands of citizens than any other country in the world. Yet Joe Biden continues to say this. Today, I'm calling on Congress to enact common sense gun reform, including requiring background checks on all gun sales, banning assault weapons and high-capacity magazines, and eliminating the immunity for gun manufacturers who knowingly put weapons of war on our streets. Common sense gun law reform is nothing more than shaming language. It's designed to make you feel like if you don't agree with any of these measures, you're a monster who doesn't care about people dying. Because these measures are so common sense, everybody should want to do them. But here's what Joe Biden doesn't tell you. Joe Biden says we need background checks on all gun sales,
even though we already have them.
That the Parkland shooter got his guns without a background check. Except even the ATF said that he bought the guns legally from a gun store, which means he had a background check. Even Time magazine admitted that examination of the deadliest recent mass shootings showed it was difficult to point to cases where more expansive background checks would have saved lives. Many of the people who perpetrated these mass shootings passed background checks. Some, including the man who killed 12 at a movie theater in Aurora, Colorado in 2012, or the shooter who killed 22 at an El Paso, Texas Walmart on Saturday, passed because they did not have a significant criminal record. Others, like the shooter who killed 9 in Daytona, Ohio on Sunday, had juvenile charges that were expunged. And several, including the 2012 Sandy Hook, Connecticut shooting, did not face background checks because they obtained their weapons through friends or family. Next, Biden says we should have an assault weapon ban. Again, giving you the false impression that banning civilian semi-automatic rifles like the AR-15 would have saved more lives. But last I checked, the FBI found that more people were killed by hands and feet than they were from so-called assault weapons, which is just code for any civilian semi-automatic rifle like the AR-15. The Parkland shooter used an AR-15 and killed 17 people. The Virginia Tech shooter used a 9mm handgun and a little .22 pistol and killed 32 people. Basically double what the Parkland shooter did with what Joe Biden calls an assault weapon. Last, Joe Biden says he wants to eliminate immunity for gun manufacturers who knowingly put weapons of war on our streets. Joe Biden wants you to think that gun manufacturers cannot be held liable for defective products, which is not true. What he's not telling you is the Lawful Commerce and Arms Act, which literally says you can't sue a gun manufacturer simply because somebody used one of their guns to commit a crime. The only reason that there is a bill for this is because the gun control lobby kept trying to sue gun manufacturers simply because the criminals used that company's gun for the sole purpose of trying to bankrupt the gun industry. It got so bad they had to make a bill for it. I did a whole video about this, but here's the real question. Why isn't Joe trying to sue BMW after the Isla Vista killings where the guy stabbed, shot, and drove over people with his BMW 328i? I'll tell you why. Because it's f***ing stupid. And anyone with a brain knows that if you subject any industry to this type of end user liability, it will literally destroy the industry. Yet Joe just said he wants to pass common sense gun reform. How's destroying the entire gun industry common sense? I don't want anyone to.
Agree. So agree. Crazy. It's crazy what's going on. Crazy that we got to go through this. But me, it's like I am trying to put up another bill, and I am gonna go over some of the wording of some of these bills, so we can actually start reading some of this on this channel. I'm not just all about just watching other people comment on House resolution, but I'm actually going through it and having some kind of literal actually go through it, break it down, dissect it. See what it's really about. I mean, we get highlights of a lot of important topics of these, but I definitely got to get to the meat and potatoes.
Montana has just committed to signing the constitutional carry bill. Sit by and watch this episode of Guns and Gadgets to learn more. Hey everybody, welcome back to Guns and Gadgets, your premier source for Second Amendment news. Before I jump into this, I want to thank Shall Not Comply. Check out this new Guns and Gadgets shirt. If you're interested in some Guns and Gadgets shirts, head over to Shall Not Comply. I have a link down below. There are now 5 different designs. Plus, if you use that link, it helps the channel a little bit. You can buy anybody's stuff. There's Reno May or Johnny B or even Pew Pew Tactical. Tactical Considerations, there's a whole bunch of stuff on there. And Evolve, pretty cool. You've seen me wearing this stuff for a while. The shirts are super soft for those who are interested. Link is down below. Thank you to everybody over at Shall Not Comply. HB 102 in Montana. The governor has just committed to sign it. The governor now is Greg Gianforte.
Nice.
Previously, it was Stephen Bullock. And Stephen Bullock has vetoed constitutional carry a couple times, but that is no longer. And HB 102 looks to expand where people can carry without a permit to anywhere in the state that they could carry openly. And it restricts the Montana State University system in their ability to regulate firearms with a couple small exemptions. Now, private business owners, private property owners, and tenants still reserve the right to prohibit firearms on their property business in their apartment, just as it's always been pretty much anywhere. But if you are in Montana, constitutional carry is now yours. But also combine that with last week, Utah became a constitutional carry state. And with those two, we are now up to 18 constitutional carry states. You usually get asked, so I actually wrote the list down this time. So in addition to Montana and Utah, we have Arkansas, Alaska, Arizona, Idaho, Kansas, Kentucky, Maine, Mississippi, Missouri, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Vermont, West Virginia, and Wyoming. You can be free there. The other states, not so much yet. There's still a large, I think there's like 7 more that are trying to push it through right now. And that's a good thing. Shall not be infringed actually means shall not be infringed, but yeah, politicians. So good on the governor in Montana. I will have a link down below if you want to reference it, but I do want to show you this first part here of the bill. You can see here it says purpose. The purpose of sections 1 through 11 is to enhance the safety of people by expanding their legal ability to provide for their own defense by reducing or eliminating government-mandated places where only criminals are armed and where citizens are prevented from exercising their fundamental right to defend themselves and others. And one other note, this bill, in the bill, it says it will be effective June 1st, 2021, but it's still good news. Also, Seth Bergley is the representative who submitted this, so if that's your representative, give him an attaboy. If not, call him and give him an attaboy. But good news in Montana. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're interested on Second Amendment news, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent, this is where you'll find it.
All right, so at least we got something. Jeez, lighten up my day. Hey, we got some good news. Got at least 18 states. Constitutional carry, good and bad. One good because at least they have the right bad because they shouldn't have to go along the lines of doing all that just to get their constitutional rights. But
well, I'm at this point, I just don't really know how many. I don't know. We're less than 30 days or less than 45 days into this new, which I refer to as a regime.
Ministry, yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's more than a
I
regime.
just don't think that we're just teetering on some. I don't trust any of these states. If you're gonna be honest, I certainly don't trust the blue states. But even the red states, they've been, you can't really tell. You can't. It's just I won't put money on any of them. I mean, not that I'm a betting person, but I just for what we've seen. I mean, and like I said, we're not even in like 2 months. We're not even in this first 100 days. I think is going to be either super pivotal or chaotic, or maybe both.
Yeah,
Because
pretty much.
with all the disaster and all the executive orders, we do have a very old power grid. And what have you heard? If you know who were in office, that's all they would be talking about. I know they miss him. I know they miss Trump. I know they do.
Of course, they're turning on Biden already. Oh my
They can't
God.
stop talking about him.
Right.
I'm like, my gosh, this guy is living in a lot of people's heads for free.
Oh yes.
So that's not the case for me. But when I hear people talking about him, like I think I said it on my own channel. I said, I don't want to hear another damn word about the man's hair, his bronzer being the wrong shade. Oh, his wife won't hold his hand and
you just tired of people just waking up, getting out of bed, ready to hate on somebody. I can't wait to talk about this man for the last 4 years. He got on my nerves. That's what they do. That's really what they do. I'm like, Lord, a lot of people just don't have a life.
Yeah, but they're still on the same. They keep looping the same stuff. But I'm like, okay, but who are you blaming now? Have you heard anything about what they're doing to assist? I mean, I don't know. The secretary that he has, she's looping back the loop back girl. I'll get back to you on that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But it's too bad you don't hang on to my every word, because I'm the press secretary and da 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 da.
Oh, no, what she said? She said, you know what? I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm gonna have to. She knows us. She knows that we hold her to her word. So she has now. She has a disposition. Now she has a defensive disposition every single time. It was opposite with the last administration, in which they were already prepared for an attack. So we were ready to attack first, if not first and last, because we saved the best for last, and then we walk off the stage. That was the biggest difference between the last administration and this administration when it comes to doubling back and not answering questions because you don't have the facts on hand. At least if we don't have the facts, we'll push in some facts.
She doesn't
that can fill in what we don't
do
have.
her homework. She doesn't.
She doesn't have homework to do.
If you just take it out, just take it down to, are you even prepared for your briefing? Are you prepared?
You can do better than you can do better.
What are the topics of the day? She doesn't even. She clearly has no. I don't know who's working with her. I mean,
that giant binder that's about this big that stays on that what you call when she's opening it up and she has topics and everything.
She opens it up and paper starts flying everywhere.
This her binder that she was working on as her homework last night and she didn't finish.
Yeah, well, she didn't. She just doesn't appear to be. Not only can she not answer questions, she doesn't. The subject matter itself, she's not She doesn't have a response even for the
basic.
She doesn't like if you say, okay, how's the weather? She'll be like, let me get back to you. She doesn't even know. She won't say she won't even say what it is relative to where she is.
Right.
She just automatically you get a rain check every
time.
So, and Kaylee, Kaylee would take her time and go through information, but I don't see that. I don't see that she doesn't have a plan to even approach the situation. So I don't know. I think she knows, and she's already defensive. So she's, to me, she's likely to have a meltdown at some point, a real meltdown, because it's only going to get hotter. They don't want to answer any questions, DJ. That's the other thing.
Yeah, she ain't even realizing she ain't really been in the hot seat yet.
No, she doesn't want to answer any questions. I'm gonna take your lead and put my hoodie on. This is a racist thing for me to wear, right? Is that right?
Yep, because now we're thugs. We're in the hood, right?
I tell you, it's exhausting. It's crazy times.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's see. But yeah, not a fan of hers, and she's not composed. She's not composed, and to me, she's gone out there enough times looking like that. It looks like somebody would pull her aside and say, "Hey, come here. Let's talk about this." Why don't we do a run through of your meeting today? Let's just see. I don't know. Did you see the after school special part 2 today?
Nope.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you. Do you want me to share it with you? Do you want me to share it with you?
Yep.
Did you see part 1 as well? Hold on. Yeah. Well, oh my God, it's just so bad. Like, this is like the worst. They dropped a ton of money on that, and they got like an after-school special. But after-school specials were better than that. They actually, it was slightly objective, but hold on, slightly more objective than even public service announcements. Have more substance and not just flat out propaganda. Hold on, okay, I got it. So this thing was released probably around 6 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time today. And I got it right here. So let me know when you approve me.
Yep, go ahead.
To share with you. You want to do it now?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Make sure that we can hear everything.
And 3, 2, 1.
I got the vaccine, you got the vaccine, they got the vaccine, we got the vaccine.
Oh, I did hear this.
Back to normal, let me.
Can you hear it?
Let's all get the vaccine. It's about community immunity. I'm talking. If Doc says it's good, then trust me, it's good. Now let's all get the vaccine. Trust me, believe me, we're not gonna have another Tuskegee. This ain't eugenics. No way. Nobody getting away with hiding information today. Got the FDA, the CDC, black doctors and experts for you and me. There's a whole lot of data for the world is free. Do me a favor, check it out and you'll see. I gotta give a shout out to all of those involved that's helping us get this problem solved. People want to know, is the vaccine safe? It doesn't have anything to do with race. 9 out of 10 people won't get sick. That's 90% effective and legit. We gotta act now. Please don't wait. Get the vaccine before it's too late. For real.
All right.
So that was that was part two. That was part two. That
Oh,
was
that
part
was
two.
part two. Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah, I
part,
did see part one.
so part three is coming out next
Oh,
week.
my God. Why? Part three. This is deep, deep. This is like the sunken place. Really just I'm gonna get into you. Yeah, no matter what.
Okay,
They're gonna get
DJ,
old people into this.
DJ, ride with me now. There's gonna be 5. There's 5 of these.
You killing me, all right.
Hey, what is it? Brandon Tatum. You should put his comment.
Yeah, I'm about to do it right now. I already beat you to the punch. I pulled it up while you was watching. I said, "Oh yeah, I've seen this before." This is killing me. Oh my!
How much did they pay you to say this garbage?
Hey, a few $1 million. Oh, yes.
Look like Chinese propaganda to me.
Oh Lord!
Also visit my website beingblackandblue.com.
Song in the back.
Get my very first book about policing in America, a little bit about my life and the testimony of other police officers. And I have solutions at the end of the book, statistical data proving why defunding the police makes no doggone sense. Get the book, Beating Black and Blue. Link is in the description section. Get on the list. I love you guys. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, this looks like propaganda to me. Not only just propaganda, Chinese propaganda. Why? I want y'all. Let me not get too weird on this, right? I'm just trying to be reasonable. I want y'all to look at this video of propaganda to the black community to take the vaccine. I want y'all to look at this, and I want you to give a fair evaluation. I'm not gonna give a commentary on this right away. I want to watch it with you, and after it's over, I want you to think about it. I want you to comment about it, and I'm gonna talk about it without running you crazy. Roll the film.
Here we go.
This is number 1, I believe. I think it's number 1. This is number 1. No. Maybe it's 3.
The results strongly support that these
Oh,
beings
sure.
are not closely related to.
You don't stop.
I think he's on. Yeah, that's number 1 that you're watching right now.
Oh, okay.
The vaccine believe it's safe to take. 9 out of 10 people won't get sick.
Okay.
That's 90% effective and legit. This COVID thing is real and it will find you. It's killing our people. Let me remind you.
The news.
Hold on. Let me see with that newspaper.
That's right. The news. That's what got me.
Why
The
does
small
COVID-19
stuff.
kill more people in communities of color than white communities?
Now people, let me remind you. Back in the days, there was polio, smallpox. Back in the days, measles and mumps, man. Back in the day, but because of the vaccines, none of those saved. Vaccines they work to trigger immunity. 2 shots, we got antibody security. We gotta act now. No need to wait. Get your vaccine before it's too late.
I'm gonna take it all the way back so you can see the black and brown bodies that are probably being deceived at this point. Why would they make a commercial to be stereotypically pointing out black people, right? If white people were to say black people are in the slums and they try to use hip hop music to influence black people and they use doctors and lawyers and they do all this propaganda, they will be mad at white people.
Did you
That's
see
probably
them
a white person that paid for
chasing it with
Probably
a
a white
bat
liberal.
and stick?
But they'll be mad at white people.
And it's just running behind them.
We
What
got
the heck?
all these black people up here.
Green
We got a
gas
rapper
and just bubbling
that's
up.
hip
Like,
hop
what
rapping
the-
and beatbopping.
That's the code.
We got the community in like
New York, where they in high rises, because only black people live in the inner cities like this. You got the doctor here. You got all the black folks out here saying, let's get vaccinated. Let's get vaccinated. It works. It's not going to hurt you. It's only here to better your life.
It's like an ink pen, right?
And it's funny they throw little white people in there too.
Yeah,
you look
just like
those probably supposed to be brown people. Propaganda on the magazine. They got to go back in the days.
Back in the days.
Now,
Did you see the people chasing it?
Let's talk about this.
Yep. Either chasing it or running away.
I think should be educated. Like people should be educated on the vaccine.
Right.
You shouldn't just take it just because people are telling you to take it.
And you don't know nothing about it.
Evaluate the risk factor in the COVID vaccine. This vaccine have not been tested
on humans, on nothing.
Tested for over a year.
You get humans on
or use it and verify that it works for the people. This vaccine have not been tested for I don't know a few months. People are taking it. There's evidence that it's causing people to have certain reactions to it. And it may not be you. It may be rare, but it happens. And instead of telling you and propagating that everything is good, we need to take it, it affects black and brown bodies more, they should be educating you on the risk factors and the reward factors. What's better for the community? Who needs to get the vaccine first if you're going to go get it? Does grandma and them need to get it? Or you being young with a 99.6% recovery rate, you need to be running down there throwing that in your arm. And if you look at vaccines in general, even the flu vaccine, I was at the hospital just the other day because my wife is having a baby. I was at the hospital just the other day, and the nurse was saying that the flu vaccine is pretty much bull. That's what it is, because they used the strand of vaccine from the year before. They're using the vaccine strands
right,
from the last
and the germ had advanced.
Many times the flu will mutate
between
then and now.
So it don't even just,
the other time.
You're getting nothing.
And so they're using a vaccine that's probably many, and I've heard people report on this, that it was 30% accurate of whether or not you'll catch it or not. So only 30% that will prevent you from catching it. A 30% chance. If it was 100% right, and many times it's not even right at all. Most people get sick after taking the vaccine. Obviously, many of you guys have taken the vaccine. You know you get sick after you take it. I haven't taken the vaccine in 7 years, and I think I had the flu twice. But yet they're doing propaganda and hip hop rocking and bebopping to you. DMC, this is probably the oldest rapper in the game.
Literally.
They got him out here chucking and jiving to try to get you to take a vaccine. And it's funny because they don't tell you to eat healthy. At least I haven't seen them talk about your immune system, talk about eating healthy, talk about a good diet, talk about exercise, talk about heart disease, talk about diabetes.
Not about race.
Hypertension. A lot of the things,
even though we're the first ones that can get it,
because of lifestyle choices and also poor
black and brown
situations. But they're not going to propagate and tell you to stop going to McDonald's, putting 45 Big Macs in your stomach.
I agree. They're not
going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you to put the drugs down. They're not going to ever have a rap video about that. They're just not going to do it. They're not going to have a video telling you to take personal responsibility for your health, and you probably won't fall in the category of people who are more likely to succumb to the COVID. They're not going to do it. But they need a rap star, hip hop. Surprised they wasn't playing basketball to influence brothers and sisters.
Right.
Then they need to get the vaccine. I'm not getting it. My wife not getting it. Our kid ain't getting it. We're just not doing it because it makes no sense for us to take the vaccine when we're healthy, functioning adults. And it hasn't been tried. I want some of y'all to take it. Not y'all, because I love everybody watching this. Somebody on another live stream. I want people to take it and let me see what happened first. Then we see what happened, then I'll consider it. And half of the population croak, then I know what's up. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I thought that was illegitimate propaganda. It's just an example of how they trick and how they propagate to certain groups of people to get them to do things. They think you're too dumb to do research on your own about a vaccine, so they use Run DMC. I call him Run DMC. They use DMC for him to rap to you and convince you, because he black and you black, because he a rapper and y'all listen to rap, that somehow you're gonna participate in their propaganda. I'd say after watching this, do your own research and figure out what's best for you and your family. Like and subscribe to the channel. Visit the website, beatingblackandblue.com,
beatingblackandblue.com. And yes, your thoughts as we represent the hood gang.
Okay, so here's the deal. Okay, so I mean, yeah, I do think there's tons of propaganda in there, but it's also them contradicting their whole ideologies, you know, about race and oh, it's not going to be another Tuskegee, and you know,
Right.
it will find you 9 out of 10 people won't get sick. Since when? You know, it not even 3 months ago. The running party didn't even, you know, they said they weren't going to take it because they said they weren't going to take anything.
They said, I ain't going to take nothing that Trump put out or Trump endorsed or Trump support. I ain't going to take it because Trump trying to kill blacks and Trump trying to kill the country and blah, blah, blah. But when they realized, oh, dang, we're not getting a new scientist, we're not getting a new doctor. Dr. Fauci is going to do the same thing this year as he did last year. It's no new information. Duh, we told you that last year, that you're not going to get a new guy. He's a Democrat and he loves you guys. So he's going to play you just as much as you thought that you were going to play him. It's funny.
But you know what I had to do? I had to play. You know, there's some little nuggets in there. Should we play that? Should we play one of them again to see if there's a newspaper in the second one that we missed? Because I don't know if
you got all the good ones. You had the one. You had part 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm over here still jamming to Invisible.
You want to jam out again to the second one?
Yeah, we can do that. You know, okay.
What we're looking for is the newspaper. Let's
newspaper. This is fun.
It's a scavenger. We're gonna have
active
a little scavenger on it.
Right. I'm like, oh,
Here we
it's
go.
cool. People will catch it because I see there ain't nobody on here.
Let's see. Let me make sure I can. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? And
Let's get it.
3, 2, 1.
I got the vaccine, you got the vaccine, they got the vaccine, we got the vaccine. We can get back to normal, let me inform you, let's all get the vaccine. It's about community immunity. I'm talking unity for you and me.
Okay.
Doc says it's good.
They're in front of a hospital.
Let's all get the vaccine. Trust me, believe me, we're not gonna have
in the background. Old people. Really?
No way. Nobody getting away with hiding information today. You got the FDA, CDC, black doctors and experts for you and me. There's a whole lot of data for the world is free. Do me a favor, check it out and you'll see. I gotta give a shout out to all of those involved that's helping us get this problem solved. People want to know, is the vaccine safe? It doesn't have anything to do with race. 9 out of 10 people won't get
right?
sick. That's 90% effective and
Warren
legit.
G.
We gotta act
Wow.
now. Please don't wait. Get the vaccine before it's too late. For real.
You too cool for this. Not even old, Warren G. You too cool. His wife made him do it. It's okay.
But wait. Okay. So you notice they said that, that nobody can hide information, but you can control but you are controlling the information.
Nobody can hide the information, but they went right on Google.
Yeah.
Duh. It's like, okay.
It's just, yeah, I'm just saying, like,
Google, then went to FDA, and then I'm like, okay. So if the government told you the information, it's true.
Well, and it's also their information. As long as you're looking for their information and on their websites, then you're going to get their narrative.
Yeah. One of these parts and versions said don't question. It was alluding along the lines of don't question the information. You know.
Oh yeah, what was it?
He was saying it's cool. ABL played that version. That was ABL's take.
He said not to. It's time for us to trust and not debate.
See, not debate. Don't even ask questions.
So they've already contradicted.
They made it cool to not ask questions.
So they contradicted themselves It said not to debate, but then they tell everybody, oh, look it up for yourself. And then he goes in and plugs in I mean, it's not even, their website says until it's approved. I mean, I can even give you, so that tells you right there. It's not approved. I showed that on maybe my stream, but they want to know if you can trust it and these kinds of a bit. So here it is. It says despite the speed of the vaccine development, which has prompted many to question whether the mocktail is safe and effective, very strict science, regulations, and transparency was enforced during the development and safety monitoring. Even after the CV mocktail is approved, even after it is approved. What do you mean even after? But you're already giving it to people. The FDA, CDC, healthcare systems, and mocktail developers will continue to monitor the safety and effectiveness of the mocktail for years. See, I'm even being told that people that have taken it, they have to sign something. I think is it like,
yeah, you do. That's for any now it's for any.
But I'm also thinking that means they're going to be following you. That's also giving them permission to keep. They got
to keep tabs to make sure you don't have any adverse side effects. So that if you do, they might try to hide that information. So like, well, we already been keeping track from you since day one. So just let us know, and we'll let you know. And then you won't even know that your information is not being shared because that's not sexy enough for the medical industry.
Yeah, but I said, okay, well, next week we're going to roll out number 3. Say, how many more of these things are you going to make?
Right.
I said, did you see my little hula girl dance? Did you see the guy? He was like, did you see the guy singing with his fist in the air?
Yeah.
That was horrible. That was horrible animation. So what does that mean?
We need to go back to the Schoolhouse Rock. I swear to God. I can't do this no more. We need to go back to the real I am a bill on Capitol Hill because that taught me real things. On all jokes aside, see how far we went. We went from literal verbatim education to propaganda, just all the way. It's just like 20 years does that.
Yeah, it's clearly bizarro land, but I tell you the truth, DJ, I probably got a good 10 more minutes in me.
Right. Hey, I'm right with you. I'm right with you.
So yeah, but that was what was it? The definition said that was wild.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, man.
So, but it's
Crazy.
But the lyrics, did you see him chopping down that tree that said eugenics on the bottom?
Yeah. Here we go. Oh God, you took that off of Google. Stop. They don't even know what that is. You can't just say stuff to kids and they don't know what it is. Eugenics, racism, and that's it. That's as far as they know of it. They don't really know the theology of what it is.
No, they don't. I mean,
ethnically, like they don't know what the heck. They don't know what the heck they're listening to. You can't bump the proper, like you said, propaganda. Sounds like some Chinese. You can't bump stuff like that in their ears and expect them to just.
And then they've got a whole bunch of people. These people that are doing these vocals in the background. I'm like.
I'm like, oh God, you're trying to melodyne it into their brain. You just hypnotism. It's just I see what they're doing. They playing a whole bunch of tricks. It's cool. Because the youth, they're oblivious. They don't know. They're oblivious.
Did you see that commercial on the vaccine? These kids, do these kids even know who the heck DMC is? Give me a break. These kids don't know.
No. They don't know about none of it. They just like, got that right, Mom. Like, what the heck?
I mean, they could. I mean, they could have done. Flavor Flav would have put something better together for them than that.
Yeah, boy. You're right.
But he actually plays piano. He plays drums. He's actually a stand-up musician, and I'm just thinking, what is the DNC? So yeah, I don't know what else have you got now. The situation in Texas is pretty sad.
I was trying to figure out what in the heck was going on with that. I didn't know what was going on until this moment.
Well, I can tell you based on that, not based on that. I'm not moving to Texas.
I'm about to say, what they going blue?
But you know what? I think that they brought all those people that left California. They went to Texas.
Oh yeah, that is what a lot of interviewers had asked the Texas governor how the heck did he feel about everybody is agreeing that it's supposed to be a red state, but you got everybody that's moving from New York, California, right to Texas. How is it supposed to be? How is it supposed to stay what it's supposed to be? But they only, the main reason why they're moving is for number two, it's so dang big. People from California understands geography, so they're gonna map out the same way they did with the population in California and Texas, but put their ideology inside of this mass, and they may create blue city over here, blue city over there, blue city over here. Next thing you know, it ain't red no more. I mean, they already trying to say it's purple, so I don't know what.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Star State, come on.
Bad. It's pretty bad, but I don't really know. It's like they're turning that place into a third world. The way it's been managed, and I haven't heard them say a peep about who's in control right now.
Yep, because they're debating on these images of these cages within the past 2 weeks. It's a lot of caravans that's just sitting down there, and they looking at Biden like, okay, you said you're gonna let us in, so so there's a no return policy.
Psaki says this is not a good time to come. I'm like, you think? Why would you bring those people up here? It's just I
money. I don't know.
Do you see where the debt is? The nation's debt is like 30 plus. I believe it's more than that, $1 trillion. We've got more debt than anybody.
Pretty much. I mean, we just created so much debt within this past year, only with the pandemic alone. It's like China was like, I know how to put them. They're gonna be hurt for the next 3-4 years if they don't figure it out. We're gonna, it's like strategic almost. Like you could have seen it coming at least 2 years before last year. We didn't see it coming. We heard all the propagandas. We heard not propaganda. We heard all the focus from right before Trump when he got elected. The very first thing that came to every Republican's ears was China. China being worked over by China. China's abusing us. Blah blah blah. Up with sanctions and all this stuff, and then look what happens now. So it's like, okay, dude knew what he was talking about. Then we hit a big fall. Then nobody want to recognize who created the situation. I'm about to play this, and then I'm about to pretty much get up off here.
Okay. Hey, we should come back another night, and I will make sure I take a nap.
Intellectuals seen racial issues as issues about intertemporal abstract slaves or enslavers for centuries.
Oh, okay. That's not what I want. interview as well. Oh man, but nevertheless, man, it's just crazy. It is just crazy. Yep, got it.
Y'all need to stop this. This video is brought to you by The Officer Tatum Store. The Officer Tatum Store. Get the merch in the description section. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, the bell, get notifications anytime I go live or make a video. Make sure you visit beatingblackandblue.com. Beatingblackandblue.com. My first book. Come on, show your boy some love. It's about policing in America from B. Tatum's perspective. And also, I have some police officers that I featured in the book. So you're going to hear their stories. You're going to hear solutions. You're going to hear statistical data to handle these problems and lies that they've been sharing about law enforcement in America. Go down there and get the book, and let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm hyped. Why are you hyped, Mr. Tatum? Because this right here, and I say that every other video, but this right here, this ain't right. This just ain't right. And I'm tired and sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired of people doing this. Stop it with the disdain for white people. Stop it. Stop it. So why do you say this, Brandon? Well, in New York, I'm gonna go to the article. So we didn't have to go over this no more. I'm gonna show you the article. So in New York, this brain dead person decided that he was going to force a curriculum at a community high school that is literally bashing white people. I'm gonna show you the chart. The chart is called the 8 white identities, right? Let's scroll down. This guy, Barner, which is picture here, this guy decided to make this chart and write these words about white people. Now, somebody explain this to me and make it clear as the noonday sun. How is it that white people can't even look in the direction of a black man to say anything about black people, but black folks can write curriculum talking about white folks? You ain't never been white. How are you telling white people how to act? When white people try to tell black people anything, you say, you can't tell me nothing because you ain't black, you ain't never lived black, you ain't never walked in my black shoes. Well, you ain't never walked in their white shoes, you ain't never been white, you ain't even lived in, some of y'all ain't never lived in a white community until you make money, then you move away from these black people and live in a white community. I'm just saying, keep it real. You don't want to keep it real. That's where y'all go. The first place you go is to the white hood. Anyway, why can black people do this is beyond me. But I just want to read this chart because I think it's incredibly amusing. You guys can see it. I'll link it in the description section, but I'm going to read it out. It's very small, so you probably can't see it that well, but I'm going to read it out for you so you don't have to worry about it. All right. Number 1, white supremacists. Clearly marked white society that preserves, names, and values white superiority. White voyeurism. Wouldn't challenge a white supremacist. Desires non-whiteness because it's interesting. Plausible. Seeks to control the consumption of appropriation of non-whiteness. Fascination with culture. Y'all know black culture, consumes black culture without the burden of blackness. Without the burden of blackness. Okay, white privilege, number 3, which is all of these have been complete myths so far. Maybe the first one is right, but all of these are becoming more and more of myths. White supremacy, white privilege. May critique white supremacy, but a deep investment in questioning of fairness, equality under the normalization of whiteness and the white rule, sworn goal of diversity. Okay, next one. White benefit. Sympathetic to a set of issues, but only privately. Won't speak, act in solidarity publicly, because benefiting through whiteness in public, some people of color are in this category as well. That's
wow. So we can't talk about
confessional. Some exposure of whiteness take place, but as a way of being accountable to people of color after seeking validation from people of color. Okay. The next one, white critical. Take on board critiques of whiteness and invest in exposing, marking the white regime, refusing to be complicit with the regime, whiteness, speaking back to whiteness. Okay. White traitor, which is what this brain dead person wants.
They really wish you're a white traitor.
Actively refusing complicity, names what's going on. Intentions is to subvert white authority and tell the truth about whatever at whatever cost, needs them to dismantle institutions. All right. The best one, I guess, of them all is white abolitionist. Changing institutions, dismantling whiteness, and not allowing whiteness to reassert itself. So this pretty much is saying that get rid of white people, right? Just imagine if they did a blacklist like this, and y'all don't want to go over the blacklist, and they are to rate themselves, right? Meaning white supremacy is the worst. Being a white traitor to your race is good. Sell out the white people, and you are good.
Right.
This dude looked creepy and looked like he would write something like this because of his disdain
Look at him.
and hatred for white people.
Ah.
And then they put it in curriculum in the schools. I guarantee you, if they did this for black people, what would we say? Number one, black supremacy would be number one. That'd be green. That'd be the best you can ever be. Black voyeurism would be better. Black privilege would be better. Black benefit, black confessional, black critique, black traitor, black abolitionist. Black abolitionists would be changing institutions, dismantling blackness, and not allowing blackness to reassert itself. That would be what a person would write against black people if they wanted to do the same thing that black people are doing against white people. Tell me how that would make sense. When I ain't gonna lie, most black people get away with being right here. Black supremacists. Clearly marked black societies that preserve, name, and value black superiority.
Black. Superior.
That's most black activists are right here. But if white people are right here, they bad. They're devils. They're bad. They going to hell. All of the above. If white people are where most black people are, they'll be considered bad, and maybe they should get taken outside, and taken away to the camps. If you know what I'm saying. Why do we do these to our children? This is not good. This is not right. You don't fix racism with racism. If you believe that there's racial things that are going on and prejudices, are, I think I'm saying that word right, and you think that there's injustice, well, fight the injustice, fight the prejudice, fight the racist. Don't fight it with racism or prejudice or injustices. You're going to fight injustice with injustice. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. And I'm probably saying the word wrong. I wasn't an English major. It makes no sense. You don't accomplish anything. You don't. You're hurting the people. You're supposed to love people. Then you're supposed to correct the wrongs. And we can partner together and unite. Black, white, green, brown, whatever you want to call it. We can unite together and we can fix the issue if we say we're all in this together. Instead of saying white man bad, figure out how bad of a white man you are. You got to be a traitor to your whiteness in order for you to be a good white person. And if you halfway like white people, but you're not really fooling with black culture like that, you're a white person, but you like listening to rap music, you are bad. You're a bad person. Come on, people. We can't be this brain dead. We can't be this delusion. But anyway, I got to get back to the hospital with my son.
Yo, welcome, baby boy. Got a baby that was just born. All right. Wrapping it on up. So, go ahead and say your last words. Yo. There we go. Can't hear a word the same. You're muted.
So we're wrapping it up with a hoodie on top.
With a hoodie on top? Good gang.
All right, guys. Well, I'll see you guys on the next live stream. And thanks for having me, DJ.
All right. Keep up the
Thanks
good
for being
hair.
in my streamer.
Yep.
Okay, guys, have a good night. Bye-bye.
Peace.